Yeah.
Was
What's up, Kobe? What are you
my
doing, sir?
background good? My background's a little different today, isn't
Whose house is that?
Yeah,
it?
dude. What is going on here? You called in.
I did. I called in. Um, there's lots going on in the household over here. So this isn't my house. I'm actually in Greenwood, about an hour away, and
Wait till we record.
we are
Oh, we're
recording.
recording.
We
Oh,
Yeah,
live,
this is
bro.
live, bro. We're live. We're good to
oh,
go.
I didn't know
This
you
your
were
first
live.
We
pod,
got
Mike?
people tuning in already.
Dang, my bad, Kobe.
No, no,
Good
you're
to see
good.
you, sir.
I'm in Greenwood. It just kind of happened spur of the moment. We had like a little lots going on. So Alex's aunt is having a big milestone birthday. We'll just say she's 29, but it's a big milestone birthday. No, no,
Okay.
yeah. And then today is so we're celebrating a big family lunch and dinner type thing, just kind of hanging out at the house. That's where I am right now.
Okay.
And then something that you guys might have known about, maybe not, but in Greek culture, so we're in the Greek house, one of the Greek people, one of the Greek family members. In
All right.
Greek culture, it's called a name day, and it's celebrated the same, if not more than a birthday.
Okay.
So today is Alex's uncle's name day, and which means it's celebrated big in Greek culture because usually you're named after like a saint or something.
Oh wow.
So Left Eddie is his name, and so he's named after a saint, and it's like today is everybody that's named Left Eddie is they celebrating today
Oh,
because
that's
it's
what's
their
up.
name day. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So it'd be like if they were if Mike, if you had a name day, everybody named Michael would be celebrating today.
Okay, got you.
David, if it was your name day, everybody named David would be celebrating today.
Man, that's
So,
crazy.
so
They
it's
get
kind of
like two
cool.
birthdays.
All right. So
Yeah,
what do
yeah.
you do to celebrate this?
It's the same thing as a birthday, pretty much.
It's a birthday party.
Yeah, it's a party. It's a get together, spend time with family, and hang
And they
out.
let you step out to do this.
Huh?
They let you step out to do this podcast.
Yeah, they're upstairs. I'm in the basement.
Oh, what? You're
Nice
such a
people.
good family.
Yo, what are you
I
eating?
know.
I know they're cooking some good Greek
Oh,
food
you
right
know
now.
they are. Yeah, they're good. I don't know what they're eating yet.
Oh man,
So
so you're
they're weird.
hungry.
I'm not gonna say weird because they're probably listening or gonna listen. But they eat lunch at 3, so they're eating right now, which I think is a weird time to eat. But they love to eat like a late lunch, early dinner at 3, and then they don't really eat dinner. They just snack at
Snack the
night
rest of the day.
after that. Yeah,
Toppers. Yeah.
And
yeah.
this is an everyday thing. They eat lunch at 3,
No, no, no. When they
just on
have
Sundays.
when we have
Name day.
not necessarily just get togethers when the family
Get
all
together.
comes in and yeah.
All right, that's dope.
Well, that sounds fun, man. I'm glad that you're there. We miss you over
Yeah.
here, though.
Yeah, man. We left
Yeah,
your
yeah.
seat empty.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, just
Just to get like a picture of me, just like
Yeah.
stick it right there.
Look at you right here.
There I am. There's my seat.
All
There's my seat.
right. So, besides going over to Greenwood and celebrating name day in the Greek culture, what else has been going on this weekend, Colby?
I had a big day on Wednesday.
And
It was my birthday.
Yeah. What do you?
I had
that's
a
right.
birthday.
That's right. Happy birthday!
Thank you.
It's like
I
what?
thought you froze there for a second.
No,
All
you're
right.
supposed
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
fill in that. You're supposed to remember that. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes. Well, I remember like at the end of the day, and I texted you happy birthday.
You did. You did.
Actually, my wife reminded me, and so that's when I texted you.
probably at the party. So we didn't really get to celebrate my birthday on Wednesday because we had a big soccer party, end of the season
Team of
party.
end of the year.
Yeah,
So, how old did you turn, Colby?
solid 33.
You're 33.
Yeah,
Young man. Young
Oh,
man.
why did I think that you were older than that? We've
What?
been knowing
No,
each other for how long now? And I honestly thought that you would just turn like 35.
You never heard us
no,
talk about him
You're
being the youngest?
33. I knew
I'm
he was young,
30.
but I didn't realize he was that young.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday, man. You're still in your
Thank you.
early 30s. So,
Still early 30s, right?
yeah,
33 still
dude,
early
yeah,
30s.
no excuses. You should have all the energy in the world still.
Yeah, for
Right,
sure.
right. Should, yeah. I still have my memory, right, David?
That's right. That's right.
Yours is going.
That'll go away pretty soon here within the next 5 years.
What'd you do
Yeah.
this weekend, man?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, speaking of memory, what did we do?
Couple basketball
We had
games, right?
basketball. Yeah, so we had
Yeah,
basketball
yeah.
yesterday,
Nice.
which went much better than last weekend.
Yeah.
Let's see. The little boys had one game, which they did pretty well. They
Yeah.
won. I
We got
mean,
some baskets. McLean
technically won.
McLean got his first
Yes,
Yeah, I've
basket.
seen those, man.
McLean got his first basket, which was awesome.
That was a
So,
solid jump shot.
yeah, our little
Yeah.
soccer boys were tearing it up on the basketball court yesterday, and then the older boys, they did good. They had 2 back-to-back games, or a back-to-back game, 2 games,
Yep.
and they won both those games, and everybody did well. Wyatt got in there. Wyatt's getting a little bit more comfortable with the basketball.
Yeah.
Yep.
Watch out, man.
He's
So
a
I mean,
natural defender.
once he gets his offense on track, he'll be unstoppable.
They locking
That's
him
right.
up.
That's right. Yeah. Oh, he won't let him buy him. Yeah.
Hey, that's what's up. Hey, you knew he was.
Mike, what'd you get up to?
Man,
Yeah,
just
Mike.
chill with the family. Did 90 OT, top tier 4v4 futsal reporter this morning. It was a hard game.
What happened?
Yeah, tell us more.
They're getting waxed, bro. They're just getting waxed. It's just a house team, it's just a whole bunch of players that never play together. And we got the little ones out there, and they're little. So they're realizing how fast the game is, like when you don't have that much space, and like porters are realizing like, hey, you got to use your goalie. Like you got to turn around, you can use your goalie. I'm like, bro, you guys can do this in a real game. Do you know that? So it's cool for them to learn. So
and you guys were celebrating his birthday today?
Yeah. We're having some family over right now. They're celebrating birthday, and they let me come pod, just like name day.
Yeah.
I saw that we were texting yesterday, and you guys were celebrating Porter's birthday today, and you had said a while ago that you had purchased FIFA 25, but you were holding out for his birthday. And I was incredibly impred that you've held out this long and not broken it in.
Oh, yeah, we
until
brought it
his birthday.
Bro, I tried to open it and put it in mine. Alex said no. Because he was like, you got the game? And I'm like, yeah, that's what you're right. But I wanted to so bad.
Yeah, well, sweet. Speaking of FIFA, I played Colby yesterday, and he crushed me. What was it, like 3-1? But like it was really like 5-1 because my goalie was incredible.
Nice.
Which I had nothing to do with.
What teams y'all play with?
I was Liverpool, which I never play with, so I didn't. I'll say that's my excuse. I think every time I played Liverpool with you, I think I'd done it once or twice.
Yeah,
I got waxed, so I should probably just not play with them.
Just drop Liverpool. Yeah, I was PSG.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm more of a Bayern. I like to play with
Bayern.
Bayern Munich. Yeah, I feel like when I play with them, that's when I play my best game.
You did good with City too that one time.
Yeah, well, how can you not?
Yeah, they got beat today by Man United. So.
I was about to say, we were watching it or listening to it earlier, and then we stopped because we were traveling.
Crazy.
Yeah, I watched the first half, and it was 1-0 Man City.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What was the final score?
2-1.
2-1.
Yeah.
Wow.
Dang.
Got a PK, and then the person that got the PK scored the goal like 1 minute later. So it was like less than 45 seconds. That's crazy. All
right. Well, enough soccer talk. Let's bring our guest in. We've got Tre Confer. Now, me and Tre Confer, we go back pretty far. Tre, how long have we been knowing each other? At least probably 5 years.
Yeah,
I would
like
say
4 or 5 years.
Yeah. How old are you now?
I am 24.
I knew you were young. Yeah. So I first met Tre through the CrossFit world back in the day. And Tre back then was just a young whippersnapper, new to the gym, trying to flex his guns, and actually did pretty well in CrossFit for a newbie back then. And since then, he's really kind of dived deep into the fitness world, and then also got his teaching degree and is working. Well, I won't say everything that you're doing right now. What are you doing right now?
I'm a PE teacher at River Ridge.
Yeah, so phys ed teacher over at River Ridge, which is where my kids. Colby, we lost you.
I'm here.
Okay.
I was seeing if you put something on Instagram, and
I didn't tag you. I'm sorry, I just tagged Tre.
Okay, that's all right.
But yeah, where my kids go to school, he's a phys ed teacher over there. Is this your second year?
This is my first year there, second year teaching. Yeah.
Awesome. Nice. But most notably, within the last few years, you've really kind of taken the lacrosse world by storm. So let's talk about this first. Let's talk about where you grew up, what sports you grew playing growing up, and then how did you find lacrosse? And if that's not until further in the conversation, we could talk about that later. But talk about growing up.
Okay, so I grew up in Duncan, South Carolina. Obviously went to Byrnes High School. Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. I grew up in Duncan, South Carolina, where Byrnes is located. I think my 9th grade year is when I found lacrosse. All my buddies started lacrosse in 7th and 8th grade, and I remember going to a intro to lacrosse meeting, and it was like the first year of lacrosse at Byrnes. And I was on the basketball team, and all the guys were sitting there, and they were like, dude, you should come play with us. And I'm like, dude, I'm not playing that weenie sport. So pretty much I waved that off, and then 8th grade came around playing basketball. 9th grade came around playing basketball, and come to find out I got cut 9th grade basketball year, and I was like, you know what, I'm done with this.
Yeah.
So I went out for lacrosse that summer of 9th grade, and that's really when it started. Really, I mean, Byrnes started lacrosse, I think, my 7th grade year.
Damn,
so
that's
that was
crazy.
the intro. But it was, I mean, I probably 2012, 2013 was the first year.
Okay.
And, I mean, they had like 4 to 5 9th graders. There was, I mean, they were getting killed.
And try to talk right into those beads right there.
Right there.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. Slide up.
Slide up just a little bit.
Now you can hear me?
Now.
All right. But yeah, my 9th grade year is when I started lacrosse.
Yo, educate us on lacrosse, man.
So we were kind of texting before, I think yesterday and today about this upcoming episode. And, all three of us are soccer guys.
Yeah.
We're heavily involved in soccer around here. And we were like, man, we feel like lacrosse is what soccer was 30 years ago, right? Like when we were 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, anybody older than 30 years old at that time didn't really know what soccer was.
Yeah.
And now all three of us are older than 30, and we're talking about lacrosse. And I was texting him last night. I was like, hey, do you guys even know how many are on a side in lacrosse?
Yeah.
And all three of us were like, no, we don't know anything about lacrosse. And we do know, though, it's one of the fastest growing sports in the United States. So yeah, give us a little background on lacrosse and how many are on a side? What is the general structure? Are there 3 periods like hockey? Are there 4 quarters like?
Okay, so it's they're 4 quarters at high school, college, and then lacrosse and professional too. But like I was saying, lacrosse, like you were saying, halfway on each side, left or right, it's 6 on 6.
Okay.
So I know in soccer you got your attackers, midfielders, and defense. Defense, they have 6-foot poles, so that's the biggest difference. Girls lacrosse is all shorties. You got your 2 goalies. You got the face-offs in the middle. They face off every time after a goal is scored or to start the quarter.
Okay.
The biggest change from lacrosse and like soccer and basketball is it doesn't stop. So even if the ball goes out of bounds, guy can grab it, wait for the whistle, and then we go. Instead of, all right, ball's out of bounds, everybody take a breather.
Yeah.
We're chilling for 5 minutes, then we go. It's pretty much a non-stop game. But that's what got me. I mean, I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I was athletic. I was a big guy. This is how big I was going into 9th grade. And it was an easy transition from basketball. Offensively, it was motion sets and just constantly moving with your stick. So, I mean, the biggest thing right now with the athletes is being able to catch and pass left and right. And it's very easy to get used to it, but it's very hard to get technical. And it's like soccer. Like my footwork is terrible. But my hand and eye coordination, it's all the way up.
Yeah.
So I think it's really like soccer a lot. Yeah. But it's like if you throw soccer, hockey, and football and basketball into one sport, you got lacrosse.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I feel like lacrosse is kind of like a fast game like hockey where you're subbing every 2 minutes or so. So are there like, in hockey of line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4 sometimes, depending on how big your team is. Is that similar to lacrosse where you switch lines or?
Yeah, so it really depends on what your program looks like. Me coming over to Byrnes, I'm the offensive coordinator, so really that's my job is to get the lines and get the guys meshing together. Okay. So, I mean, you think about hockey, you got your first line, second line, third line. You're not going to put all your studs on the first line. You're trying to merge those guys. So I think there is lines, but in the game, you're like, all right, O mid, let's go. If you play offense, you're going in. D mid, let's go. If you're going to play defense, the offense is coming off, defense is subbing on. Gotcha. So then you get those guys that are two-way middies that just can play both.
Okay, so if we've got 6, that means we've got a goalie. There's 1, probably like 2 defenders. Are there different like
3 defenders, 3 poles? So the 3 poles are usually set up with guarding the attackmen. The attackmen are the best ball handlers on the field, so they stay back. So it's the attackmen, 3 poles on the other team, the goalie. Those guys are just chilling if the ball's not over there. And then on the other side of the field, if the ball's over there, you got 3 middies, 3 attackmen on offense. Poles, 3 poles guarding them, guarding the attack, and then 3 shorties guarding the offense. So 6 on 6.
Lacrosse lingo is crazy.
Dude, you're right.
Trying to
Yeah.
keep up
I got to
with
wrap
it.
my mind around this real quick. So
Yeah.
let's just talk one side.
Okay, one side.
Let's
It's
start with goalie, and then defenders, then middies, then offenders.
Where's the ball? Do we have the
We'll
ball?
say the goalie has the
We
ball.
got the ball. Yeah.
Goalie has the ball?
Yeah. So
So
we're moving forward.
Okay, the goalie has the ball. We're trying to clear the ball.
Correct.
You got to have 3 poles to clear the ball.
What does poles mean?
Pole is a 6-foot pole guarding you. So
Okay.
he has legit a 6-foot pole, and he's guarding you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like he's on defense.
Okay.
So the defenders have to clear the ball, but they have 3 middies. Most teams are going to sub off 1 midi to clear the ball because their offensive midi just played offense.
Got you.
So say I shot it, the goalie has the ball, he's saying clear. So now he's starting to clear the ball. He needs to either get to the poles or the shorties. And the best teams, they set up the best clears. So really we have a scheme. Who's subbing off, who's staying on. But in reality, you got to have 3 poles stay on defense. Then on offense, they sub that 3rd pole out. Bring in a shorty sometimes. And then there's another thing called a long stick midfielder.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty much the best ball handler pole, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So you got 3 poles, 3 middies trying to clear the ball to the other team.
But they're all switching at the exact same time. So if the other team has the ball and then the goalie gets it, those player up top is running off and the defenders come. That's nuts.
So
That's wild.
So really, like, if you don't know what you're doing, you're
Yeah.
like my first game playing lacrosse, I had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
I was just like, all right, here we go. I just followed the ball and like I was just doing me. And then
so you got to be locked in the whole time.
yeah, if you don't know what you're doing at the varsity level now,
you're done.
You're done.
So like on a varsity team, how many players are there on the whole team?
The whole team? I think we're taking 27 guys.
27, and there's 6 people out there, including a goalie. So there's not 7, there's 6 with the goalie, right?
Mm-hmm. And then you got the other side too.
Right. So,
but that's crazy. So there's like
on the other team.
So at any
on our
point,
team.
yeah. So
There's like an offensive side and a defensive side.
At any point in time, there's 4 to 8 players running off the field.
Oh, at any time there's somebody subbing.
That's nuts.
So we have a coach, and one of my buddies, we just got him on to the varsity team. His job is to sub. Like his job is going to be running the box.
So, okay, now I'm confused. Okay, so you said it was 6v6, but it's really 12v12?
Okay, so you got your goalie.
Yeah.
This is my team. I got my goalie. Count on your fingers. You ready?
Yeah.
Goalie. 3 poles.
Mm-hmm.
That's my defense.
There's 4.
Now you got middies. They can travel from one side to the other.
Okay.
3 middies.
1, 2, 3. That's 7.
Okay. Now we got 3 attackmen. Best offensive players.
Mm-hmm.
That's 10.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay.
But you can't go from like one side half to the other half.
So what's crazy about lacrosse is the better teams play who's on sides, who's off sides better. So if I'm a better coach and I'm playing a team that pretty much has subbing terrible, I can tell
one of them off every time.
I can tell a guy to go off sides and bring a guy on and play a mind game with him, if it makes sense. So the refs are counting kids on sides each time.
So how many refs during the game?
Varsities, there's 4. There's 3 to 4, and then you get to the state championship. I think it's a 4-man crew.
So I've got another question then. So if you're a defender, you have to stay on your side half of the field, or can you move up past the half line?
So this is when it gets complex. So you have to have 6 guys on offense. A pole can carry the ball over the midfield if a shorty stays back for his position. So if you're a pole and you want the ball and you want to go score, you're the 6th guy, you carry it over, but I have to stay back. If I don't stay back, we got 7 guys, and now we're offsides.
I see.
And that's when
all right. That makes sense.
Rocket throw.
Yeah.
Okay, that's usually a
so.
pole
I mean, you get a pole, and you
Okay.
get a guy that can play offense. I mean, he's shooting at 100 miles per hour.
Okay,
So
gotcha.
that's when it gets complex, and that's.
So, in your opinion, what's the most important position on the field?
I mean, I'm kind of biased, but really, I mean, if you got a stud goalie, I mean, you're not losing. I think. I mean, the better teams are the ones with the better goalies. Face off is a super important position too.
Okay.
Because there's going to be teams we play, or not just us, but there's teams that you play. If you can't win the face off, you're not going to get the ball ever. So during summer, we've played teams that we don't even touch the ball.
So your kids are just running.
Yeah, we're trying to win the face. So the face off starts. There's guys right here in the middle.
Yeah.
Ref blows his whistle. Boom. We knock it out. there's guys now in face-offs that are so good that they can just win in their stick, run to the
push.
cage, shot. 1. Refs, here we go. Set it up. 2. And it's just like you get the better face-off guys. It's like it's crazy. So I mean, in reality, I think goalie and face-offs most important guys.
Yeah, I had a patient not too long ago whose grandson played at Newberry.
Yeah.
He just graduated, and he was talking about that. He was a face-off specialist.
Who was he?
I don't remember his name. Last name would have be I can't tell you because HIPAA. But I don't remember.
Dude, I probably went to school with him.
You might have. He went to Dorman.
And he played at Newberry? Are you sure it was Newberry or Lander?
Newberry. I'm positive it was Newberry.
He went to Dorman? I coached at Dorman.
Well, no, he just graduated college, so he'd be your age. I mean, maybe a year younger.
And he was a Fogo? That's what it's called.
What's a Fogo?
Face-off specialist.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Okay.
It stands for face-off, get off.
Yeah.
You win the face-off, you get off. That's what it stands for.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's crazy, bro.
So if somebody yells Fogo and you're out there, I mean, you kind of are getting.
But he was telling me that he went to like they have like face-off camps just for
Oh,
face-offs.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Like you spend a whole week just working on face-offs.
Yeah, there's guys, it's usually the most out of shape guys. They're like, you know what, I'm just going to learn face-off. And they learn face-off, and that's all they do. But, I mean, you get into the college level, you got a face-off guy that can play offense. He's going anywhere. So, I mean, face-off is very technical. We usually put our most athletic guy out there.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, all right. So you started playing when you were in 9th grade.
Summer of 9th grade.
So how long did it take you to really kind of catch on to all the nuances, the rules? Do you feel like it took you a full season really to grasp the idea, or was it? What's the learning curve like?
Dude, I mean, my junior year really was like when it clicked, when I actually knew the offense we were running, when I actually could go on the field and be a guy. So I think it really took 2 years.
That's crazy.
It's hard. I mean, it's not like basketball and football where you can just go out there and, you know, like, I got to score, you know, and like football, you give the guy the ball, here we go.
Yeah.
But lacrosse is like, you put your athletic guys on defense, and then the guys that can actually handle the stick, they're on offense.
So what did you do during the season to like catch up and learn like faster?
Gosh.
Like, did you do training?
For me, it was, I grew up, my dad played college baseball at Coastal. So for me, it was kind of like, he was telling me like, dude, you got to do something. If you want to go to college, like this is it right here. It's got to click. So, I mean, it really clicked my junior year. That was like the first thing I was doing on my own. Like nobody was watching me. I was always training, always shooting, always hitting the wall. A big thing for us offensive guys is if you can hit the wall with your stick with a ball, so you're passing back and forth, you're going. And if you can do this every single day and like catching and throwing lefty and righties, nothing, that's when you get more complex. Because if you throw me a ball and I don't even think about it, that's when it's a lot easier. There's a lot of guys that think about it too much, and now you got a guy with a 6-foot pole coming at you, hitting you hard as you can. It's gonna get, you know. So for me, it was really like you got to be able to pass and catch.
Yeah.
Athleticism, it was there already for me. But if I learned the complex and the offense we were running, I mean, we had I think probably about 18 seniors, so it was all me and all my buddies. We made it to first round of playoffs. That was our first year. We beat Dorman. That was a big win. That was our rival.
Yeah.
And I come to find out I started coaching for him, but
traitor.
Yeah. But that was I think that was the biggest thing is 11th grade year. Really, that's when it clicked, and that's when I actually wanted to train, you know. And it didn't even feel like training. It was just like, hey, I'm gonna go shoot. Hey, I'm gonna go pass. And I never had that growing up.
So Trey, is there like things that I guess you could do? I don't know. So I'm thinking like for soccer, there's futsal leagues. There's a 5v5 league that is or 5v5 league, tournament league, anything like that. But that you can do to enhance different things with soccer. Is there something similar for lacrosse? Like, do y'all have variations of lacrosse that you could focus in on certain skills, or is it just practice, hit the ball against the wall, shooting, like just drills?
So on the side, I train a lot of lacrosse kids offensively, just that. But I mean, are you asking me like leagues and stuff? Is that what you're asking?
Just like, I guess, variations of it. Whenever we think of soccer, to us, soccer is 11v11 on a big field.
Yeah.
But then like we also have little 5v5 leagues that are more technical and help like do different things. And there's futsal leagues that are different. So it's a variation of soccer, whereas lacrosse, I'm just curious, is there anything, a variation of it, or to get better at different things, do you just do drills?
So guys up north, they play box in the off season. So box
Okay.
is indoor lacrosse. My junior and senior year, I played box lacrosse in the summer. So box lacrosse, there's different rules. It's indoors. You're wearing tennis shoes. It's basketball, pretty much. It's basketball. Nothing stops. There's no out of bounds. It's indoor hockey rink. If you think of it, everybody has short sticks. So all the defenders are having short sticks. That takes away that complex 6-foot pole. So when I played indoor lacrosse, the ball moves faster. You're constantly running. Everybody has a short stick. The ball moves faster, quicker. You're moving faster and quicker. So really, for me, that's what helped. It is not around anymore. But if you go up north, like that's all these guys are playing is in the off season. You're either playing hockey or you're playing indoor lacrosse.
So where do the best guys come from around the country?
Yeah, I mean, you're talking like Maryland, New York. I mean, the best guys, we had 2 guys from Duke come. We had a guy from Duke come coach with us during the summer. He was from Long Island.
Yeah.
And they played on the team. They were saying like every single guy on the team was a Division I lacrosse, but they breathe lacrosse. It's like football down here.
So I'll tell you this, when, you guys know, I was born in New Jersey and I lived there until I was about 9 years old.
Yeah.
Then we moved to Michigan, and lacrosse back then was huge. So that's, 30 years ago. I'm 38. You would be at the soccer fields, and there were lacrosse fields right next to it, and you'd see just as many kids, if not more, playing lacrosse.
Okay.
You'd always see people.
Really?
You'd always see lacrosse sticks hanging outside their backpacks, or looping through their backpacks, walking through school. So it was a big deal. In fact, it was something that I really wanted to try when I was little, but when we moved to Michigan, it was non-existent. There was no lacrosse there.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, I think in the Northeast, it's huge.
Oh yeah, it's no doubt. We took a team during the summer up to Maryland. And it's like I was watching 5-year-olds play, and it was absolutely insane. And I was like, dude, I'm coaching that team next summer. It was like these little kids, dude. They all had flows. They all had eye black on. They were hitting behind the back shots, and I'm like, my 9th graders can't do that. And these kids are doing that. So like, it really is like if they start young, it's crazy because it's a stick, man. That's really it. It's just stick work.
Now, like soccer, obviously it's huge around the world, Europe, South America, Africa, literally everywhere, and then it's finally caught on here. It's growing. It's continuing to grow. I would say it's probably a step ahead of lacrosse right now in the United States. Is lacrosse big around the world anywhere else, or did it kind of originate right here?
It's Canada sport.
It's a Canadian sport.
Yeah. So when I went to Newberry, my college coach was Canadian, and he recruited 10 Canadians, and they were just built different. It was like they were like 40-year-old men in 23-year-old bodies. So it was these guys just. I mean, some of them had signing deals for indoor lacrosse in Canada while they were in college, and I was like, how does this work? And they were like sponsored by like AAA, AA teams, and it was weird because lacrosse to them it's like football to us. Like everybody plays football, like you see a guy, you're like, oh yeah, you probably played football, but nobody around here is like, oh yeah, I played lacrosse. I coach, So it's gotten to that point here, but in Canada, I mean that's
what they do.
I mean, they play lacrosse, and you play hockey, and it correlates. So that's where it's the biggest as Canada.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So what's like the? Oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Cope.
I was gonna say, what's the like I guess career trajectory, professional field of it? Like we talk about like ECNL and ECRL, MLS Next, and soccer, which is like just getting up to like whenever you're in high school and trying to get up to the MLS, which is just the Major League Soccer. What's the professional trajectory for lacrosse?
So it's just gotten big. So it's called the PLL, Premier Lacrosse League. The owner it's on NBC, so you probably have seen it like just randomly. The owner is Paul Rabel. He's arguably the best lacrosse player ever, but he really like narrowed it down. And there's a documentary about how he like got the sponsorship with NBC and stuff. But really there was tons of leagues, and it obviously wasn't working out. And then they merged into one giant league, the PLL. And I mean, when we take a team to Charlotte, I think they play in I forgot the stadium, but pretty much what they do is now they're assigned. They've gotten so big now. Charlotte has their own team.
Oh wow.
I think it's called Carolina Chaos, and then there's still indoor leagues like professional. But I mean, these guys are getting paid less than me as a teacher, so I don't think that's working out. But the PLL is, I mean, that's the big time, and they just announced 2 weeks ago, I think it was the WLL. So that's the Women's Lacrosse League.
Oh wow.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that on TikTok somewhere.
So okay, so W stands for women. What does P stand for?
Premier.
Oh, Premier. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, lacrosse league.
There
Got
was
it.
a MLL, Major Lacrosse League.
Okay.
And now it's just PLL. I don't watch it that much because I mean these guys are just, I mean, they're studs. So it doesn't help me. College really is the biggest thing I'll watch. But Premier is really, that's the only professional. You got the indoor guys, but I mean that's not compared to soccer. They're not making money like soccer.
But they're pouring a lot of money into college right now, right?
Oh yeah, I don't think the NIL stuff has hit lacrosse yet because obviously they know what teams to go to. I mean, you got Maryland, Duke, Notre Dame. It's all the major high-level teams. But once it hits there, it's going to be crazy.
So tell us about your recruiting process. Like, how'd you get recruited out of high school?
So it was weird, man. Our coach in high school, we didn't really have that much help with the recruiting level as like we do now with me and all the other coaches. So for me, it was, hey, coach, I'm interested in blah, blah, blah. Come see me. We didn't have no summer lacrosse. So there was no like off season, you're going to get recruited. It was kind of like, hey, come recruit me, come check me out. And for me, I was getting recruited by Division II schools. So there's a rule where you can just go and try out and you play with the team and you practice with the team. So I would email to coaches, picked up a few offers, email another coach. He would see that. I would go try out. And then they'd offer me a spot just for me practicing with the team. But really, that's all how it started. It's gotten crazy now, the recruiting process for a bunch of these kids. I mean, starting at like 7th grade. So
yeah, my nephew just started playing 2 years ago, and he plays at Malden.
Okay.
And like he's not like I haven't seen him play yet, but he's not that great. He told me, but he said colleges because he's athletic.
Yeah, that's it.
Or like, yo, come play and we'll give you money. Like they're giving him money to come to school if his grades are good.
Oh, no doubt. Me and my dad, we just showed up to one school, and he was like, "Yeah, that's fine. We'll get you going." Because he just saw my dad. My dad's 6'6", and he's a big guy. So he was like, yeah, this guy's going to be super athletic. I mean, you can't teach athleticism.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for us, lacrosse is like, if you get recruited just because you're gigantic and you're fast, they'll teach you how to play. I mean, they can teach you how to play. You'll have enough time.
Yeah, Mike, your nephew, he's tall, right? He's tall and athletic, and he's
great. He's in 12th this year. This is his second year playing lacrosse.
Okay.
And he's already got like D2 schools. And like, yo, come play.
Yeah, it's
like
gotten that. Yeah,
if your grades are good, like 80% scholarship is nuts.
Yeah, it's
lacrosse.
I was torn. Newberry was the best option for me. There was a lot of other Division II schools, but nowadays, I mean, you got Anderson, Lander. There's these bigger schools that have like top level facilities. So
now the big school around here is Limestone, right? Like, don't they have like a great program?
Probably when I was in high school, that's when they were crazy good. But like right now, I mean, the Division II school that's running things is Lenore Ryan.
Oh, okay.
And they have like 5 Division I guys on their team just from the transfer rules. So they just transferred there and there. I think they won Natty last year. I think they're back-to-back Natty champions. And they made this like whole YouTube video on how they can beat Division I schools and stuff. And they're like trying to set it up and stuff. And Lenore Ryan's crazy. You guys, you need to look up the facilities. I trained a kid the other day. He's going to Lenore Ryan. I think he's like 6'4", and he'll probably be like first line midi, and he's a young guy. But he was telling me like all these Division I guys are transferring there next year, and I'm like, dude, what are you gonna do? And he's like, I mean, I'm gonna play. Hopefully, the coach promised me. So
gotta go there and ball out. Bro.
That's what I said. I mean, dude, it's hard now because like these high D2 schools, they have Division I guys. Like my first year when I was at Newberry, this guy, he got All-American as a freshman. Next year, he out. He went somewhere else, and he just won a natty. And I'm like, that's absolutely insane.
Yeah, that's crazy. So, I mean, like I said, we said you were 24 at the beginning of this podcast. So really a lot has changed within like the last 8 years in lacrosse. That's how fast it's growing, it sounds like.
Yeah, the sport itself, the game itself is like so high level. Like when I was in school, our coaches, we just show up, we play. As a coach now, I'm breaking down film. I'm like it's like football now. Like the
Yeah.
football coaches, like they have football meetings. We watch film. We break down every stat. We say, I have to scout the defense, the teams we're playing. I'm scouting their rides. I'm scouting how they slide from one side to the other of the field. So it's really like the ball movement is just so complex from when I played.
Wow. Okay. So, one thing that I've noticed, I mean, you're really involved in growing this program at Byrnes, right?
Yeah.
You're starting camps for kindergartners and first grade and second grade. You're trying to recruit these kids or at least get a stick in their hand, at a young age. Like you probably saw those kids up in the Northeast, right?
Oh, yeah.
Just get them involved. So how, down here, lacrosse still isn't like a sport. Like I'll talk to my son. You see my kids, you teach them, they love sports.
Yeah.
I'll say, hey, Coach C wants you guys to try lacrosse. And they're like, I don't know. I don't really want, like, how do you, because it's not a big deal here. So how are you trying to infiltrate these kids and show them how awesome a sport lacrosse actually is? Is it really hard?
I mean, dude, honestly, it really is. Like, people get so upset because, I mean, if I give you a stick right now and I throw a ball at you, you're going to be like, dude, that's so easy. I can just catch it. But in reality, it's really not as easy as it looks. And
right.
We had our rec coordinator. He came in and he brought sticks and stuff. And we had that whole class with the school. And like all the girls were better than all the dudes. And they were getting so mad in 5th grade. And I'm like, hey, man, I don't know what y'all want me to do. Like, this y'all's first time grabbing a stick. And it was, for us, it's convincing them that, hey, I know your dad didn't do it. I know your mom didn't do it.
Yeah, for sure.
But I promise you, if you do it, it'll be fun. Like, I promise, just come out. It's going to be a fun. Yeah. I usually tell the guys, I'm like, dude, you can hit somebody. We have brawls all the time during the game. Nobody's going to yell at you. Like, I promise you will get playing time if you come out here. And they're like, yeah, but Marcus Lattimore didn't play lacrosse. And I'm like, dude.
Be the first for Marcus Lattimore then, bro.
And that's the hard thing right now is like kids just see TikTok and see all this everything. And for us as lacrosse coaches, we're trending. Like lacrosse is trending in the social media. But they see these guys from up north and how they play and stuff. And they're like, yeah, I'll try it. But they're in 11th grade. And I'm like,
it's too late.
It's too late. Yeah, right,
so
right.
Really for us, it's convincing the kids just to start. And it really starts with like, if your dad or anybody play, like no parents going to be like, oh yeah, I'll let my kid go play and then just watch him get killed by somebody. And I think that's fair to a certain extent. I've talked to a lot of parents. They're like, yeah, I don't want my kid getting a concussion during sports. And I'm like, but he's playing football. What's the difference? Well, the game doesn't stop. The game doesn't stop in lacrosse, and you got a whole metal pole, and I wouldn't want to play with somebody smacking with a pole. And I'm like, I mean, you get a lacrosse player, that kid's going to grow up being tough. So I think, I mean, but that's really the hardest thing right now is convincing them to come try it. And like basketball, you talk about basketball, like if you give a kid a ball, like he's going to make it if he shoots 20 shots. Like for lacrosse, if you can't throw it to somebody, you're going to get frustrated because if you can't pass and catch, you can't play the game.
Right.
And then I got seniors on my team, like, some of them still can't pass and catch. And I'm like, dude, you're athletic, but
it's not. You got
how you going to get the ball?
Yeah.
What's going to happen when you get the ball? So I think for us, it's like scary. Like these kids, they have to grow up even trying the stick. And that's really the hardest thing. It's like hockey. Like I can't skate. That's why I didn't play hockey. So that's like the biggest boundary, I think.
So like in soccer, like our kids do training.
Yeah.
So it's like training, like I see in a TikTok, like you just mentioned, like training's blowing up for lacrosse.
Yeah.
And like how do you guys feel about that?
Well, for me, I'm trying to be that guy that they come to in South Carolina. For lacrosse, that's really the main goal right now is, and it's hard because I'm a varsity coach, so there's a lot of set standards I have to follow in season, open season training. So I'm not training any Byrnes athletes right now. But from the outside looking in, there's nobody doing it.
Yeah.
Like that. I mean, obviously there's coaches maybe just offering it, but there's no set place that you just go and you play lacrosse.
Okay.
And I think that's a big thing for me is like, if I want to be a head coach at the end of the day, can I keep my training business at the same time?
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is trending, man. I mean, you go up north, I think in Texas, they just built a giant lacrosse barn. I mean, it's crazy. They play indoor lacrosse. They play, and it's like the soccer. I mean, all the soccer stuff you guys go to.
Man, what I'm telling, we gotta, what we could do is combine. Everybody's talking about building this indoor soccer facility. And it's essentially the same thing. You can use the same fields for lacrosse. It's just another avenue of revenue for a business, but also you're getting more and more traffic in. And there's so much stuff that you can do. I mean, you could hold tournaments there. You could do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, David's wheels turning right now.
We got to connect you with some people.
Oh,
I
dude,
really think.
I talked to the 360 guy the other day. We were talking about just the land on Reeville Road. He's got some land up back. We were talking about it, just trying to say. I mean, because he was in the same spot I was when he started.
Yeah.
For me though, if I had an indoor facility, that would be the goal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have a football trainer, come train football kids. That's fine. You work under me. Now you have soccer guys. On soccer tournaments, because all you need is an indoor turf, really, and there's no indoor turf around here, and that's
the problem.
Yeah, and that's the problem. And it really is like, dude, nobody, like, you look outside, it's 20 degrees, nobody wants to train, and like in reality, if you make it more comfortable, these kids will come.
They'll come.
And that, I mean, that's the truth.
You better run with that idea.
Oh, man. I know, dude. I'm trying, man. I mean, me and my wife, we had a realtor and everything. We were looking at buildings on 290 right there in Duncan, and just. It's hard. Like there's a lot of rent. It's like $4,000 for 1,500 square foot, and I'm like, for what, man? I mean,
let your building sit empty then, man.
Empty space. And that's what I said. I was like, I mean, you do you, man. But I mean, I promise you, if I get it started, it'll go. Like soccer, I know when in doubt, soccer kids and football kids will come.
Yeah.
So it's really like if I had an indoor facility for lacrosse, I mean, it would definitely change a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And we've thought about it as coaches too. I mean, we're like, dude, why don't we just all do it? And they're like, yeah. But it's super hard, man. I mean,
well, it's tough. It's tough when, I mean, you're probably one of the younger ones on the coaching staff.
I'm by far the
so you've got a lot of like, if it doesn't work out, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
But Mr. 60-year-old coach over here, if he throws 500 G's in it or whatever,
that's my retirement.
Harder to come back from that. But yeah, dude, I think that if you connect. I mean, Gavin's a great connection. There's all kinds of guys out here that are wanting to do something, and there's all kinds of investors in this area that are willing to do something. So I think, I love that we're putting this all together here on a podcast where people can hear it and like, all right, let's get these people together and let's make something here in the upstate. Not only here, but in Spartanburg. I mean, there's a whole nother world in Spartanburg.
People don't even know about it. That's just crazy.
And I mean, if you look at the athletes, I mean, a lot of them are coming from Spartanburg.
Yeah. We see that in lacrosse too. So that's
just like how I used to say, if somebody would have showed me a soccer ball when I was younger, just imagine if you show a kid a lacrosse stick at 3 or 4.
Bro, I tell these kids all the time, I'm like, if I was training at your age, you're 5 years old, there's no way I wouldn't be high level right now. Like I started in ninth grade, going in ninth grade, and some of these kids are starting in 4th grade. And I'm like, dude, how are you still not being able to catch a pass?
Yeah.
Like, you started in 4th grade. And there's a kid that his dad was my coach at Byrnes, and he played on my team, my summer ball team. And I remember him, he was like 5 years old. He had a lacrosse stick, and he is nasty now. And I'm like, I mean, your dad's a coach. He's got a stick. He's had a stick when he was 5 years old. He's going to be good.
Probably carried it everywhere.
Yeah, and that's really where it starts, is if you can pass and catch with your stick. If you like having your stick, it's
second nature.
Yeah, easily.
So what kind of retention are you getting as far as like, you're throwing these free camps or whatever, and you're getting these little kids out? Are they getting feedback like they like it, they want to come back, they're into it? What are parents saying?
Well, so when you play lacrosse, you need gear. And that's the biggest thing right now is like, okay, do we need to buy a helmet? You look at a helmet, it's $400, $500. So, I mean, that's just one piece of gear. They're wearing a helmet, they're wearing elbow pads, they're wearing chest pads, they're wearing gloves. Now you got to buy cleats. So, and that's even without a stick. So, I mean, for us, it's the biggest question is, do you provide gear? And we're like, yeah, we do. Come out. If you're in 7th to 12th grade, we got you gear. That's fine. Come play. And they usually, like, I think we had a clinic a month ago, and we had 50 kids come. Half of them were girls, half of them were boys. And they were just out there learning the game and stuff. And we're going to see. I mean, we're going to find out in January, see if our middle school team will have that. The better teams right now are the ones with the strongest rec teams. For us, I coach under Upstate Invaders, the summer program, and that's for all Spartanburg and Greenville. And right now, I think we're going to try to start a little kid team and they're going to travel to tournaments and they're going to play other teams.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's awesome.
And last year, I think last summer we had one team. We played a team from Charleston, and they were just sick. Like that team from Charleston, them kids, like they could have beat our 8th and 9th grade team.
Oh, wow.
And they were like 7 years old. And I'm like, dude, Charleston's 2 hours away. Like, how are we not at that level yet?
Yeah.
And it really is like, it's really just getting the kids to play. Like, you got the best athletes just playing football and playing basketball.
Yeah.
And that's really what we're competing against is all these other sports.
Yeah, I say that all the time. Like, tell my nephews and little cousins, I'm like, bro, go play something else, bro.
Yeah.
Football and basketball can't be for everybody, bro.
Yeah.
You know, you're short, you're athletic, you can move good now, but once you get past a certain level, you're cooked.
Dude, the coaches that preach just stay with your one sport get on my nerves. I'm like, go play. That's fine. Go wrestle. Go play lacrosse. Like, if you're playing basketball and then you come play for lacrosse for me, I promise you your IQ's there already.
Yeah.
So it's like, we get a lot of these football guys, and they're like, I'm just football or nothing. Like, I'll come out. That's fine in the offseason.
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, have you touched your stick? And they're like, no. So what are you going to do here? I know you sat there for like 5 minutes in football. I mean, I know you can catch a ball, but if you can't pass and catch, how are you going to play offense for me? So that's a really hard thing for other sports right now is high school sports is at another level right now, especially in Spartanburg County. I mean, you look at Byrnes, Spartanburg, Dorman, Bowling Springs. These guys are we're producing top-level football athletes, basketball athletes, but lacrosse, we're just competing to get the best athletes from sports. And when they do, it's crazy. Like, it's really game-changing. And that's up north, like, the best basketball players are playing lacrosse. The best football players are playing lacrosse. So it's really just competing with other sports right now.
So
somebody wanted to get better at lacrosse, and you said, like, on their downtime to play another sport. What do you think would be a good suggestion for them to play?
Oh, I mean, I'd love for them to play hockey. That'd be nice. But there's not really a lot of hockey involved right here. But for me, you just honestly, just anything. Any sport correlates to lacrosse, in my opinion. Since we're a spring sport, in the off season, you can play basketball. I would love for a bunch of basketball players to come to me in lacrosse and be like, hey, I play basketball. Can I come play? I'm like, yeah, come on. I show them offense, and they're like, oh, we run a motion offense for basketball.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go set a pick and roll. And that's what got me into it. They were like, dude, come play. We got this basketball player. Why don't you come play? I'm like, all right, that's fine. And like, it just meshes really well. But
I was thinking basketball.
Basketball for me, I think that's where it's at. When I'm coming up with a lot of plays and sets, it comes from basketball mindset.
And you move the ball fast in basketball, like you pass. Like you do lots of movement, quick movement, and then there's, I guess, 5 that even though it's 5v5 both ways, like it's kind of, to me, the way you described it a second ago with lacrosse is like you have your 6 that are attacking on one side. Well, that's kind of the same thing as whenever you're attacking in basketball. It's just
on one side,
sub off, I guess, for I don't know. That to me, it correlates really well.
It really
even
is.
Even though it's not like a stick in a ball or everything like that. But.
When I train a lot of kids, I try to correlate that with, like, if you have a stick, just think about a basketball. Like, if you're going to cross over, are you going to step with the same foot or are you going to go with the opposite foot? So I think for us, basketball, you just think about that basketball being your stick. It makes the game a lot easier. And there's a lot of things with cradle, and kids think about just moving the ball because you can't just run with the ball on your stick.
You have to move it. You have to twist it.
Yeah, so it's called cradling. So you just cradle the ball. But some of these kids, the best kids, they don't think about it. Newer kids are like, oh my gosh, we gotta get the ball. Let's go.
Well, you got to get that to second nature, right?
We call that power cradle, and like we know that kid's automatically a scrub. If he's power cradle, I'm like, oh man. So for us, like when I'm training kids, I'm like, hey, dude, listen, think about this as a basketball. You're one piece right now. If we're gonna cross over, we're gonna split dodge with lacrosse. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So for basketball, that's really the biggest correlation.
Like, how do you turn into an offensive coach?
Oh, dude. If I'm being honest, it really was a calling, I think, for me. Like I said, I went to Newberry. When I got to Newberry, I was thinking like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play some offense for college, He was like, nope, your defense. Because it was me. We were the first recruiting class, me and the other guys, and I think it was like 25 of us. 3 of us were from South Carolina. Everybody else, New York, Canada, Long Island, like crazy places. Yeah. First practice, me and all the South Carolina guys, we're chilling, we're hanging out. And these guys were just like, dude, how are they doing some of this stuff? And we were just getting cooked. Like
Really?
the talent just crazy. So he was like, dude, you guys are gonna be athletic. You play defense. So we just started working with defense and stuff, and we got our reps with offense. We played in some games being freshmen, but just the IQ level was just crazy.
Yeah.
And I learned a lot. And for me, it was, hey, like I want to do this. And as soon as I left Newberry, I felt this call to be a coach, and I started getting into it. The guy at Dorman, Mezzanotte, he was a really big mentor in my life offensively. And we talked a lot, and he correlated with me about the basketball. He was like, dude, you grew up playing basketball. We played pickup basketball with all the coaches. He was like, you're a really good basketball player.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you just think about it as basketball? And I'm like, all right, yeah. So I started running my offensive sets on JV with basketball sets. I coached middle school basketball the same year. So we were running same sets, same plays.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then I correlated with lacrosse. I'm like, dude, if I can get an off-ball pick over here, get this shooter open, let's try it on the lacrosse field. Yeah. We started doing that, and it just clicked. Like coaching just clicked for me. And Mike, it's just fun because I'll just be sitting there nowadays watching a movie, and I'm like,
gotta play.
Oh, dude, that play's nasty. And I start writing it down. My wife's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, it's gonna work. I promise. Just wait. And I'll like text her during the game. Sometimes I'll be like, watch this. And we'll get done with the halftime, and we're coming out. We'll write a play up. The kids will run it. My luck, it doesn't work. The ball drops or something. But when it works, that's like the best feeling right now.
So, in basketball, I would say, probably 75, 80% of the game on offense, you're running a play, right? And then the other 20%, it's free play, basically.
Mm-hmm.
In lacrosse, I was telling these guys, I don't think I've ever watched an entire game from start to finish. But I've right after this, I'm very interested.
Yeah.
I'm incredibly interested now. But I, like you said, you've probably seen it on TV, and I've seen it on TV, flipping through, I'll watch for like 10 minutes or whatever. Yeah. And I don't, when I'm watching, is it pretty obvious when they're running a play, or is there like a point guard who's calling out like number one,
So at the varsity level, you want these kids to know what to do and react, if that makes sense. So like, I'm going to teach you how to do this, but when you're in the game, I'm not going to be like, all right, we're running blue. And it's like, we have none of that. I can call something like if the ball goes out of bounds, we're running out of bounds play, just off ball picks. Here we go. Catch, pass, shot. But in reality, there's a lot of sets. We play with sets. We go from there. You beat a man, you dodge, you pass, you score. But for us, lacrosse at the high level, there's plays, there's quick hitters, but the better defense are going to be the guys, like, you're not going to run. There's no plays that are just going to work because it's reaction. Like you got you got guys guarding you. It really depends on what the guy guards. And for us, you're going to want to dodge on a guy with a short stick versus a guy with a 6-foot pole, right? If you got a guy running towards you with a 6-foot pole, he's going to check you. Yeah. Like, you're going to get hit. So we don't try to dodge those guys. So for us offensively, I need to teach these guys, if a guy's coming towards you, you're either getting out of the way, or you're coming to set a pick, or you're clearing through, or you're doing this. And for us, it's reaction. They just need to know react. Like, you read the defender. It's kind of like, if you think about basketball, there's quick hitters, there's set plays. But, you watch college, like, the game is just going the entire time. You're just reading the defense.
So practice is very, very important, like a week leading up.
So for us, this is my first year at Byrnes, and it's very different. Coming from Dorman, my role there was I was JV offensive coordinator. So for there, it was kind of like, okay, I'll do what I want, Now I'm at Byrnes, and now we just had a whole team meeting. We had a whole list of our coaching roles. We had a whole list of this is what we're doing. So when January hits, these kids, we're expected them to know how to pass and catch. Like, I'm here to teach you sets. I'm here to give you the X's and O's, and then we're going forward. And then once the season hits, like practices, we're going to be watching film. We're going to be reading how defenders move, we're going to go after during the game. Like, hey, if I see you on the field, we're going to dodge that guy. We're going to go score on that guy. We're not going to dodge on that guy. We're not going to let him score. So I think it's gotten crazy. And that's it makes it more enjoyable.
For sure.
And coaching middle school lacrosse to a high level varsity, night and day different.
Yeah.
And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get exposed now. in the sport. And that's what I was talking about, like clears and rides. There's teams that are very good at clearing, and that's going to be the teams that can score, obviously, because you can just run different matchups coming from one side to the other. But does that answer your question?
Yeah, no, it does. I just think it's really interesting that, you know, like, so when you watch a team, you're watching more than one game with them. You're not just watching one game. Well, okay, I got it. Like, you're watching like maybe 2 or 3 games.
Yeah. So this year our goal is to treat it. We're going to treat it like college, pretty much. I mean, our goal is to win state. Our goal is to win the region, and we got the athletes to do it. It's just, are you going to buy in? Okay. And coming from Dorman, they have crazy athletes, but you go to Byrnes High School, the athletes, like, you can't, I'm not even kidding. There's kids that are just, I mean, I went into the weight room. He was over here deadlifting 4 or 5 for reps. I'm like, dude, like, what?
They're freaks.
Yeah.
That's what all your D1 football players, and
no doubt,
they're all coming from Dorman, Byrnes, Spartanburg, Spartan High.
And if they play dude, when I was at Dorman, I was telling these kids, I'm like, basketball just won state. Football just won state. Baseball just won state. Just imagine if we had the best player from every team on the lacrosse field. There's no doubt we wouldn't win state. We got a 6'7" guy at Dorman. He was dunking windmills. I'm like, you give him a stick, I promise you he's going to be tough. You give the running back at Dorman a stick, he's going to be nice. So, I mean, it's really just getting the athletes.
Yeah.
And we're trying to treat it as like we're here to win. And I think there's a lot of high schools that are newer to the sport. And, like, if you play teams in Charleston, like, they're doing the exact same thing. You got to do your studies.
Yeah.
So I think you kind of hit on this earlier. There is like a club team here.
Yeah. So I coach for Upstate Invaders. That's what it's called.
So is that like the only club team around that if kids wanted to play club, that's it?
I think a big thing right now is, I don't know if soccer's like this, but there's a lot of competition on who's starting a club team and getting all the kids. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And for us, it's
the same thing.
A good thing for me is I went from Dorman to Byrnes. They're arguably the biggest rivals around here. Nobody hated me after. I didn't have no drama with no coaches, no beef. So for me, it's like I have no beef with no coaches. So if somebody was saying, hey, Coach Tre's coaching for him, nobody's going to be like, oh, yeah, don't go play for him, you know?
Yeah.
And I think right now it's hard because there's a lot of coaching drama. And it's just egos. And I think for us I'm promoting the place I'm coaching for, and I wanted to grow during the summer. Like, as soon as I was on, I think we had 2 Byrnes kids the year before. We had 26 Byrnes kids play during the summer. And I was like, dude, I promise you, if y'all play, y'all gonna get better. So they all play, and they had fun. It's just there's another team. They're called the Sonics. I mean, I have no drama with them at all. If they were playing Greenville, and they do off-season stuff just like us, and it's like 3 Greenville coaches. And then you go over to us, and we have Spartanburg High School coach, we have Dorman High School coach, we have Byrnes coach, we have J.O. Mann coach, we have a Woodmont coach. So we have coaches around here. And I think the biggest thing for us is we all want our programs to be elite.
Yeah.
And then you get those coaches that are like, I just want my program to be elite. I don't want to grow the game of South Carolina. And it's hard because you get into that drama of growing the game at your school and then growing the game at your state. And it's very complex because for me being a younger athlete, I just wanted South Carolina. Like when I was at Newberry, I tell these kids, they'd be like, oh, yeah, you're from South Carolina. You must suck. I'd be like, bro, what you mean? Like, I know I didn't play in 5 years. I mean, I know I didn't grow up playing, but we don't automatically suck, you know? Yeah. And I think for us, it is pride in South Carolina because I don't think people understand that the athletes here are really built different from up north. And like there's still an argument like it's up north football better than down south, and nobody knows. And I think for lacrosse, it's up north running things because they start younger. Yeah. But I mean, the summer program, that's really the biggest problem right now is we don't have one team from South Carolina, and that's what we need.
I understand. That makes sense. So, you know, kids around here, if they were to play lacrosse, it's really and want to play in college, they're getting recruited from high school right now.
Yeah. And I think to a certain extent, there's not recruiters coming to games. I'll have recruiters text me from colleges and be like, hey, you got kids from Byrnes? And I'll be like, yeah, come check out the game. We'll send them film and stuff, but it's really online. That's really the biggest thing right now. Like
Mm-hmm.
for me, when I'm training kids, I'm making highlights for them and I'm posting them training.
That's dope.
And I just follow the coach. The coaches follow me. They like it all the time. Like I trained this girl the other day. I think it was some D2 school. They followed me. They started liking, and then they DM'd me, and I was like, well, she's committed. So for me, it's social media right now.
Yeah.
It's really a social media game. There's no coaches taking time to come to Byrnes High School and
Sure.
Duncan.
Right.
But summer programs, I mean, yeah, they're coming, but they already know who they're going for, if that makes sense.
Now, another selling point for especially parents, right? It's like if your kid's athletic, maybe they're the eighth man on the basketball team, put them in lacrosse. This is a scholarship opportunity for a free education, whereas the eighth man on the high school basketball team is probably not getting the best scholarship in basketball.
And I think that is a selling point to a certain extent, because then you get the kids and they don't want to be out there. And that's like we practice in weather like this, like rain or shine, we're practicing. And it sucks, but like you got to be built different pretty much to play lacrosse. Like if you're some guy that's just like, yo, I'm not going to work out, like, and it's sad because there is kids like that. It's like, I'm just not going to come today. It's cold.
That's crazy.
You're not really built for lacrosse. And I mean, I was that kid coming out that first year. I was like, dude, this sucks. Like, I don't want to do this, but it just clicked. And I think recruiting wise, if you don't want to work for it, you're not going to get recruited unless your daddy's holding your hand or somebody's doing it for you in the background.
Yeah. I like that. You hear that, kid? You got to be built different.
So, I don't know if you want to step into this territory or not, but what do you see in like the current youth as far as their mental capabilities in sport? Do you feel like they're soft? Like we had somebody last week who straight up said that this generation's soft. Yeah. Do you agree with that?
To a certain extent. I think it starts with the parents. And I mean, everybody knows that. I think it's really depends on where they're at, what atmosphere they're in. That's when they really get exposed, when they're soft. I mean, I'm at elementary school. I teach PE, and I'm not babying these kids. Like, they love me. They really do. They see me. They're like, oh, my gosh, Coach C, what's up, man? I'm like, what's up? But at the end of the day, if they're crying in my gym, I'm just like, what are you crying about? And even kindergartners, I'm like, dude, what are you crying about? He said something that I didn't like. I'm like, dude, what do you want me to do? And like, like, so it's to a certain extent, some kids are soft. It is that, but there are some kids that are just workhorses. And I think it depends on the grade level. I think it depends on their atmosphere. I think it depends on the parents that surround them with, friends surround them with. I know a lot of kids that are just glued to TikTok, and it's like, hey, yeah, that's fun, but like, if you want to play a sport, it's not going to get you nowhere. Just scroll on TikTok, playing video games. So for me at high school level right now, we have kids that are hitting me up all the time. Hey, Coach Tre, when can I train? Hey, Coach Tre, what can I do? And I'm like, dude, I love that. But at the end of the day, are you going to do it? Like, if you're going to tell me you're going to train, we're going to do it. I'm not training you just for money. I'm training you to get better. I'm training you to get recruited. So it's sometimes you find those athletes that the parents are just wanting them to do it, if that makes sense. It's like, hey, my kid went here, versus, yeah, my kid's getting recruited. I mean, I don't know where he wants to go. He might not even want to play lacrosse. So I think for us, it's, as coaches, it's instilling in their heads that you got to be built different to play lacrosse. But if you just trust us, we're going to put you in the right direction. And I think it's hard when I'm teaching elementary, you can tell the kids that are baby. Fifth graders, like there's some fifth graders bigger than us. And I'm like, dude, I'm not opening your door. Like, you're bigger than me. I got to open your door. And it's like, I'm not a rude guy. Like, I'm opening doors for everybody in the morning. But if you're a fifth grader and you're bigger than me and you're a grown man, get used to it. You're going to be opening your own door.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think it really depends on your parents. That's the biggest problem right now. And it's very obvious who is getting baby and who is not.
Yeah, no, for sure. We talk about that a lot. Like, hey, man, we don't want our kids to be soft, and it's just being a dad and being a parent to them, like teaching them right from wrong.
Yeah,
it's simple for you to be, a good person.
Yeah,
I'm ready to see Saxon with a lacrosse stick, man.
I know. I can't. That's what I'm thinking about right now.
I've been recruiting him. I got all these kids. I'm like, hey man, y'all come play lacrosse. Like I see kids in my elementary PE that are just crazy athletes. Like we play tag games all the time. If kids are breaking ankles in tag games all the time, they're obviously going to be athletes. Like, I mean, like I was a fat kid growing up. I wasn't an athlete. I had to make it work.
Yeah.
But some of these kids are just built different. And I'm like, dude, come play lacrosse. He like, nah, bro, I play AAU football. And I'm like, hey.
You gonna come to
dude, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, it is.
AAU football?
Yeah, they got like different
flag.
Like
it's
like 7v7?
Dude, look it up. It's like
Oh.
5-year-old tackle football. It's like actually crazy.
Really?
They like mic up and everything.
Yeah, I've seen that.
I mean,
in Miami.
the kids look tough, but I mean, they're like this tall and they're playing.
I don't think that's good for a kid to be playing football at that age.
No, I don't either.
No, and it's like, dude, yeah, your kid's nice, but like 10 years later, is he gonna still like kids are gonna catch up?
Yeah,
that's right.
Puberty, man.
Oh yeah, and that's what we're trying to get. So we're trying to get these middle schoolers like, hey, you didn't make the basketball team. Okay, that's fine. Come try lacrosse. That's a big thing for us. It's like we're not cutting kids because we're trying to grow the game. So like you might make varsity if you're an athlete. You might not play a lot, but
you can learn something new.
Yeah, and like football and basketball, like there's a lot of kids not getting playing time, and they just stay on there and they just wait till the last minute. Then senior year turns around, they're like, you know what, I'm done with this. I'm gonna go try lacrosse. And I'm like,
you ain't putting in that work.
You 18 years old. You want me to train you now?
That's
3 years ago. Yeah.
I mean, that's the same thing, that we talk about with really any sport. We talk a lot about. I mean, you kind of hit on it. Like, you want to see kids playing multiple sports, and I've always said this. I think I'm maybe the only one in this podcast. I do think multiple sports is important, but I do think, like Colby alluded to last week, that if you're playing multiple sports but you show like potential in a certain sport, maybe you specialize in that sport and the other sports are for fun or like supplemental, which makes sense, right?
Yeah.
But getting the technical training before puberty, I think in any sport is so important, right? Like, because your biggest learning curve is what, from 0 to 10, and once you're 10, your potential is locked in as far as athleticism. From there, like you're gonna hit puberty, you're gonna get bigger, stronger, faster. But like your technical skills, it's almost like it's like learning a new language when you're 25. It's way harder when you're 25 than when you're 5.
Yeah.
So your plasticity really kind of sets in around 10 to 12 years old. So if you can get a stick in your hand, if you can get a soccer ball on your feet, if you can, start learning how to dribble a basketball, and like those are, I mean, there's things that I learned as a, 6-year-old dribbling a basketball that I can still do that I could not dribble a basketball for 5 years and I will still be able to do it,
For sure.
So I think that's cool, man. Like getting after these kindergartners, getting after these first graders, you're in the perfect spot. I mean, you're a phys ed teacher for elementary.
It's a really good plus. I talked to my principal the other day. I'm like, hey, I'm about to order these lacrosse sticks. She's like, go for it. I'm like, okay, here we go. So I'm gonna order and I'm gonna try it out. But I mean, once again, are you gonna come out? I can't force these. It's really, you got to win the parents. And I think some of these parents are just like, they don't know what they're missing yet. And like, I'm at Byrnes where there's some strong programs we're competing against. Like there's programs that's been built different for a long time. Like they know who's going to be their varsity players 7th grade year. So and that's what we're competing against, is strong youth programs, strong programs overall. So I think it's winning the parents. I mean, that's what I do is training wise. Like parents hit me up, they schedule it. If I'm friends with the parents, they're going to train with me. So I think it's really just getting those parents involved, trusting us, like even the sport.
Who is the big team? So we've got the Greenville area.
Yeah.
Who's the big high schools in Greenville for lacrosse?
Oh man,
of course, Byrnes.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, that's Spartanburg.
I mean,
Spartanburg County.
We're in the state, so that means Byrnes, of course. But I mean, you got Christchurch. They're a private school. They're top notch. I mean, just because they're private school. But I mean, other than private school, I think Greenville High School, they went to the state championship last year. Other than that, all the Greenville County schools are usually top notch, just because they have those high economic kids, richer parent. I mean, you get the more family with the more money. That's usually the more lacrosse families, and I think it's just because the gear, I don't know if that makes sense, but just the background of it. all Greenville County schools are usually okay with lacrosse. They're never terrible.
Yeah, that makes sense. And also a lot of them are transplants from the Northeast.
Oh,
so,
yeah, and that's
you get a lot of transplants in Greenville
Yep.
County.
I was about to say, and that's the good thing about the BMW right now is that we're getting kids too. We got people that are saying, "Oh yeah, I grew up playing." I'm like, "Oh heck yeah, let's go."
Yeah.
Your kid's fine. Come on, bring them to me. So it's really all Greenville County schools have always been more high level for lacrosse. But I mean, Spartanburg County, we got some strong teams no matter what.
All right. So, we've got parents listening to this and even maybe some kids, and they're like, all right, I've heard enough. I kind of want to reach out and figure out how I can learn more about getting involved in lacrosse. What's the first step to getting involved with you or getting involved with a program?
Just overall lacrosse wise.
Mm-hmm.
I
mean, specifically in the upstate, like some kid from D5 is hearing this.
Yeah.
How do they get involved in lacrosse with you? What's the easiest way?
I think for me, it's over Instagram, over phone. I give all the kids my phone number just to reach out. The quickest thing. But really, it's just getting them a stick. We usually have coaches. We usually have sticks overall. We just give them a stick. We say, hey, if you can pass and catch, all right, we'll get you started. We give them an intro clinic. I think two kids moved here last week. I don't know. I think New Hampshire or something like that.
Okay.
Mom reached out to me saying, hey, he's in 7th grade. He has a twin. They both want to play. I want to get him introduced to lacrosse. How much is training? So I gave him all my training prices and everything. And we're really just going to teach them the basics right now. But, it's going to be really cool because starting with 7th grade, I get to see how this kid evolves all the way to 12th grade. So I told her, I was like, hey, stick with it. Who knows what we can get? So
college paid for.
Yeah. But for me, it's really just you got to have a stick to play, obviously. Most of these athletes have cleats already. So we can provide a helmet. We can provide all that. So
now I'm assuming that there's just like anything else, there's different levels of sticks. Like you can get super expensive ones or super cheap ones. Starting out, is you think it's good for parents just to get like something that played against sports?
Yeah, so we usually recommend getting to play against sports. Use stick. There's complete sticks. So if you look at a lacrosse stick, you got a head and then you got the shaft. The shaft is sold separate from the head, so they're two different brands. Sometimes it just depends on what they want. But we usually recommend getting a complete stick. You can go to Academy now. It's gotten to the point where they sell nice sticks. And it really does depend on what you want. There's some shafts that weigh less that are really good for offensive guys. There's shafts that weigh super heavy for the poles. So it really depends on what you want. But I don't recommend new guys buying, hey, go buy a $400 stick. That'll be great. Just quit the next year. So that's what I tell them. And I think that's a big thing with the parents is like, dude, I'm not buying a $200 stick. What if this kid don't like it? So for us, we got to have the gear. And we've gotten to the point where we do have stuff like varsity. We just bought brand new chrome helmets. And like we're about to give the JV team the varsity helmets from last year. The JV is going to give the middle school helmets. So it's
cool.
So now we have double the helmets. So that's a big win. That's really the most expensive thing. So we're going to have our rec team. They're going to be wearing younger helmets, but I'm pretty sure the helmets they're wearing are the ones I wore in varsity. And I'm like, dude, this is bad.
So as far as a rec team, I know you're obviously you've reached out to me about my 2nd grader and kindergartner. Are they going to be able to play on a rec team or?
So what would happen is they would have, it's usually, I think it's 3rd through 5th grade. They'll play on one team.
Got it.
And they'll be playing versus Dorman will have a rec team. Bowling Springs will have a rec team.
Okay, that's
Farnborough
awesome.
will have a rec team. In Greenville County, they have their own rec league sometimes. It really depends on what they do in Greenville County. But in Spartanburg County, we all have set teams. And then, they really just represent Byrnes, and that's the Byrnes team versus you play D5 basketball, and it's like 10 teams, and they're just playing versus each other. So you get Byrnes kids playing versus Dorman kids, and you're both seniors now. You're like, dude, I remember when you were really good in rec. So, that's the cool thing, but I'm trying to push that we grow it by adding more teams in our rec team. Like, I need more Byrnes kids. I don't need just 12 playing rec because, there's only going to – what's the chances of all of them staying with lacrosse senior year? So it's great. I would love for it to turn into a thing where we have, football at Byrnes. There's 10 teams playing versus each other, and then you just get the studs, and they're the middle school team, and then you get studs, and they're JV, and you go all the way to varsity. But it's just, once again, it's the athletes – getting them, convincing them just to pay. And it's hard, man. It really is. I preach it all the time to people. I'm like, dude, like you come play. I promise you, I can turn you around. And they're like, yeah, whatever. It's very complex. It's a very complex game. And like once they start playing, it just clicks. And it's just super fun. Like it really is a fun sport. Like even if you stink, you can do something. Like you can go play defense. Like if your stick work's terrible, okay, that's fine. Go play defense. And if you can't run that much, that's fine. Try out goalie. So it's for everybody. It correlates to a lot of sports. Like if you play lacrosse and then you go wrestle, like I promise you're going to be a lot more physical. Like you're going to be, and you're not going to be scared of anybody. So I think for us, it's trying to recruit the younger kids. I want kids that have been playing since they were 5. I don't want kids that have been playing since they're 11.
Right.
You know, so I think for me, I'm in elementary school. I do use it as an asset to recruit the lacrosse kids, but I don't have access to the parents yet. And that's really what it is recruiting the parents.
Cool. Man, I wish it was a spring sport when I was growing up because I'd much rather do that than run track. That's for sure.
Yeah, that'd be huge, yeah. And that's what gets on my nerves is like I'll have kids, hey, man, I'm probably going to quit lacrosse. I got to run track. My football coach does the best thing for me. I'm like, dude, Will Shipley from Clemson, he was better at lacrosse than football.
Yeah.
And man got recruited for football. I'm like, dude, I promise you it's going to correlate. He's like, no, man, my football coach, he said track's going to get me recruited if I tell him. I'm like, all right, I mean, you do you, man. And it really is hard because it's like you're competing versus these football coaches that are telling them how to get recruited for football. And I'm like, I mean, you do you, man. But at the end of the day, like, are you going to do something for football?
Oh, man, I don't even think it compares. I mean, you're sprinting, you're stopping, you're cutting. You got your hand-eye coordination.
Your mind?
Yeah.
Man. You get a smart kid playing lacrosse, it's crazy. It's crazy because when you're in the game, when you're watching the game, you probably have no idea what's going on. If you guys showed up, you're probably like, all right, who even has the ball? But if you have a guy that's super smart, you bring him onto the field, you teach him how to play lacrosse, it's very easy to win versus your mind versus athleticism. Like if you know how to play, you know how to play. And I think that's a hard thing too, is like we're getting these kids that are just getting cut from football, cut from basketball, and they're not athletic. They're not the best thinkers. So I think for us, it's like, okay, you're the best running back at Byrnes High School. Come play lacrosse for me. You're the quarterback at Byrnes High School. Come play lacrosse for me. You're dropping 35 points a game of basketball. Okay, that's fine. Come play lacrosse after.
Right.
And it's like, no, we're going to go play AAU basketball. We're going to do this. I'm like, okay, that's fine. But like at the end of the day, like, dude, have some fun. You know, like we're just trying to introduce you to a better sport. Like if you go to football and you're talking to a college recruit, hey, man, I mean, I'm an All-American for lacrosse, too. I promise you it's going to help you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, no doubt.
Yeah.
He's a dog. Like, if you watch, like, Bill Belichick, like, he's talking about lacrosse. He's the biggest advocate right now for us. And he's like, man, if I was recruiting a kid and he told me he was better at lacrosse than football, I'd automatically get him because you know that guy is just – he's not scared of nothing. And it's like for lacrosse, like, you're constantly getting hit with a pole. You're constantly getting hit. And, like, you're going to have bruises all over your arms and stuff. And it's just the physical kids we're missing are the kids that are playing football, the kids that are just – and it's hard because, like, Spartanburg County, like, we're known for football. And it's getting there, though.
It's coming.
Like, I'm trying, man. That's first day I was there, man. I hit up the running back and the quarterback. I was like, hey, man, listen, like, I'm Coach Tre. I'll offer you free sessions. You come out, show me. Oh, yeah, that sounds great. Nothing. So it's hard, man. But once you get them to trust you, it
sounds like anything else. Once you get one, like you get that top guy, then everything will kind of fall into place. You know, you just got to get that one leader who's willing to take a chance and have some fun. I mean, like I said, you know, all three of us, we grew up playing sports, and looking back, like if I could do something like that, I totally would, man. I just think it would be, instead of running track, like,
dude,
you know,
so many dads say that. They're like, yeah, man, I would have played this growing up. I'm like, yeah, well, that's probably why your kid didn't start till now, you know. And you get the parents that trusted it or wanted to try something new, and now they're the best. Look, they know, they watch more lacrosse than me, and it's just, once you're into it, you're into it. So that's, and I think it's scary because it's like, say David brought his sons into lacrosse, they might like it more. And at the end of the day, like, then you're going to get to the point where same season, soccer, lacrosse. And now that's when it gets tricky.
Yeah.
Because my brother, he played baseball at Byrnes. I'm like, dude, you should go play lacrosse. Same season. You can't do it. So That's a big difference from up north. It's a different season. So guys that are playing soccer are playing lacrosse. I'm pretty sure is soccer same season up north?
Yeah, so soccer's in the fall up north.
So it's the same season. I think it's different seasons because then, I mean, now you got guys playing soccer, playing lacrosse. They're probably in the same shape, and that's what we're competing versus too. Is same season baseball, same season.
That's rough.
It's hard, man. And there's a lot of kids that just play lacrosse, and those are the kids that are the better lacrosse players because they're just playing it constantly, and they're older, obviously, not the younger kids.
Right. Well, who knows? By then, it might be all club, and just like soccer's all club now.
I don't know, man. I mean, it gets to the point now in soccer. You can just get recruited to play a club. You don't even.
I mean, that's
right?
most sports now. I mean, a lot of sports you're not getting recruited out of high school. I think like really the only sports as far as boys is probably definitely football and wrestling.
Oh, no doubt.
I mean, everything else is club.
Yeah,
so
baseball. I mean, that's where it's at because people know like it's the best kids on the team.
Right. All right. Rapid fire.
Yeah, I'm down.
All right, let's do it. Colby, why don't you go first?
All right. So you got a credit card with no limit, and you can buy your team. It could be you can buy your team one thing, or you can buy them all. It's like something new for the team. What would you buy them?
We're going with the blue and white Nike Dunks cleats. Those are
okay.
Tough. I got to get on my team. They're nice. We just got blue chrome helmets, so we're definitely gonna have the best helmets in the state. And if we got Dunks, they would be nice.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
You want me to go?
Yeah.
All right. So, what are you gonna do when you're not doing lacrosse or CrossFit? What does Trey like to do?
Well, I'm retired from CrossFit now.
Okay, you're retired.
So I train out my garage now. What does Trey do?
Yeah. What do you like to do? Like just ease your mind. Like,
well, me and my wife, we're best friends, so we do a lot of stuff when we're not working. She's a dance teacher, so really, we just got another golden retriever. So now we have 2 golden retrievers. So we like to go hiking. We like to walk a lot with them. For me, I like chilling. I like watching movies, just sitting there because I'm a PE teacher, so I just stand all day.
Oh yeah.
So for me, it's just chilling, let my mind calm down, just watch something. I love watching movies. We used to go to the movies all the time.
Got you.
If you had, we'll stick with the black card thing. If you had a black card and you could take your wife anywhere for a week-long vacation, all expenses paid for, where would you guys go?
She's been wanting to go to France, so
hey.
I got the mustache. We might as well go.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You get right in.
Hopefully nobody will be mean to me, so they'll just we're good. We'll go to France.
Love it.
All right. What's your favorite Christmas movie?
Ooh, dude, I'm Christmas Vacation, no doubt. That's my family, of course.
All right. What's one piece of advice you could give a parent that you want to tell them about lacrosse? Like just one piece of advice you'd like, hey, your kid needs to come do this.
I think
your pitch.
Advice is trust the process, allow him to enjoy the game, and don't just push the technical, push the win, and just let him enjoy the game, fall in love with it on his own.
I love that.
Yeah.
I think that spans across all sports, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No doubt.
All right. One piece of advice that you would give to an athlete, a young 10-year-old who is aspiring to become a lacrosse player.
Honestly, the same category probably is just keep working, enjoy it. Really, it's the kids that like it. If you love the game and you don't think about it, you're going to want to do more stuff with it, So really, it's just learn to love the game, learn to love the process. So I think instead of just saying, hey, I got to go train, enjoy it, enjoy the process, enjoy the steps. And I think that's a big difference is like you got some kids that are saying they're going to work hard, saying they're doing this, posting it. And then you got kids that are just training on their own, doing this without even posting it. It's a little different from, I don't know, the expression is like training in the dark versus showing people, And I think for me, it's do it on your own, man. I know I'm a trainer, but if you're doing it on your own and then you come to me and I don't have to teach you nothing, that'd be great. I don't want to train you all the time. I want you to do it on your own after I train you. I'll show you these steps. Go do it on your own. Show me you want it. But really, the biggest advice is just enjoy it. Enjoy the fun. Enjoy the game.
Awesome. I love it. All right. Real quick, give us your socials so people can find you on social media.
All right. My personal is Tre Confer, and then we just rebranded. It was Train with Tre. Now it's Rage Performance. So it's Rage_Performance_. That's the lacrosse trainer page.
Oh, awesome. All right.
Yeah.
So you've got a lacrosse trainer
that.
page and it's
Yeah.
Rage Performance.
Yes, we just
Rage. I saw that on Instagram, but I thought it was a fitness thing, but it's lacrosse.
So right now, dude, it's crazy. For me, I have a lot of things going on in my head and a lot of things going on lacrosse, and there's a lot of opportunities. So for me, I'm trying to combine everything into one. I want to own a gym that has indoor turf, has strength and conditioning for athletes, but I also want a gym that people come to just like us, like, hey, go train. Drop your kid off, go train. You can go train too. So for me, it's Rage Performance. It signifies, hey, now we have hybrid athletes. And what I'm really gonna try to push is the hybrid athlete, kids that play lacrosse, kids that just like to train. So for me, if I was training with Tre on Instagram, and that was getting to the kids, they loved it. But now I got to get a lot more professional if I want to own a gym, and that's the goal, is to own the gym at the end of the day and build it on in Duncan, Lyman area.
That's awesome, dude.
Man.
Cool.
Well,
Yeah.
I love it. Colby, you got anything else you want to say?
I had one more question just in my back pocket, just in case, but I'll ask anyways. It's more just if all right, you have like your 10-year-old, or you have somebody who loves lacrosse, but they can't get over the fact of getting beat up in games, like getting hit like I'm assuming by the poles, right? Like they just get hit all game, and they're just kind of getting emotional. They like it, they love the sport, they like playing it, but they're just tired of getting hit. What do you tell them as a coach? Like how do you get past them, or get past that?
The biggest thing right now is we have kids like that are really, really good. They come to me, they train, they're really good, but I don't have defenders on you training. So for me, it's confidence. If you know I have the ball, if I know that defender, I'm going to work him. I know I'm going to get by him. If he's going to check you, you just got to take the hit. So I think we don't have a lot of pads, man. I'd come home from practice and I'd have giant bruises everywhere. I'm getting whacked the whole time. And that's just from practice. You imagine a playoff game when everything's on the line, you're going to get killed. Like it is what it is. Like you're going to get killed. So if you're playing lacrosse and you're really nice, but you're soft, it's not going to last long, especially offense. Like you're going to get touched by anybody, and it's not soft. Like if you watch videos, just look up giant hits from lacrosse. Kids are getting like split in half, and then we just play. It's not like it's a penalty. So that's the biggest difference. Is like you're going to get hit, but at the end of the day, if I hit David, all of a sudden he's not looking for the ball, somebody throws it to him, and I just check him, he falls on the ground, I'll just grab that ball and then I'll run. It's not like, all right, here we go, penalty. You're just running. And I tell these kids all the time, man, I'm like, dude, if you're not confident, we're not going to do nothing. Like, you got to be confident, and you can tell who's confident or not. Like, that's really the biggest thing, is building the confidence.
And I think, like, the more you get hit, the more you realize that you're not going to break that easily.
Yeah.
And I think that's a big thing. People, you think your body is fragile, but it's not nearly as fragile as you think.
Yeah.
So it can withstand a lot, especially within the legal context of the game.
And they wear elbow pads. You got elbow pads and gloves, and really the biggest thing, the checks are coming. I mean, if I'm being honest, like not a lot of kids wear cups, and like you're gonna get checked. You're gonna get checked there, and that's probably the worst pain ever. And what makes me so mad, dude, is like during a game, somebody will get checked there, and the refs will call their timeout because he's on the ground. And I'm like, dude, he doesn't even have a cup. What do you mean? How are you going to call a timeout?
Yeah.
And like, we're about to go and score. So for me, it's like there's not a lot of protective gear, and you're going to get hit, bare skin. If you get hit in the pads, it doesn't hurt at all. Like the gloves, you're going to feel it, but helmet, like you're going to hear it. But if you get hit in your legs, there's no pads lower body at all, and they're going to check you. No refs are going to call that. So really, it's like once you know how to get hit, how to bounce back, you just got to keep going. And it's just like football. Like, dude, if you're a receiver and you're scared of getting hit, like you're not going to be a good receiver,
Yeah.
So it's really just confidence.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Good question. Mike, you got anything else you want to say?
Man, I'm just excited to see where you're going, man. And I'm intrigued to follow your story.
Yeah, dude. I think this is great. I really appreciate you coming on. Like I said, I've been knowing you for a while now, and I just really like where you're going in life, man. I think that the Tre, I think you've got great ideas. Just keep following them, and I have no doubt it's going to work out. and these kids are going to fall in love with your process.
Yes,
So
sir.
keep
I
it going.
appreciate it.
All right. Well, y'all heard it here. Sideline Talk.
Later.
See ya.